Cazzo!
9 adrenaline-packed, killer car horror movies that are pretty good. There's been a long-standing fascination with cars in cinema. And from the most extravagant and stylish cars to the deadliest ones, we have seen plenty of them across various genres. Action thrillers, sci-fi flicks, and horror movies see a predominance of kickass vehicles. And we still can't stop gushing over the sleek cars in James Bond or Fast and the Furious movies. When it comes to killer cars in horror movies, they are used in two ways. It's either shown as a medium of horror, or it's evil in itself and has a mind of its own. Either way, the movies get a massive response from the viewers, as we all harbor a secret love for ultra-tech vehicles. In this video, we have compiled some amazing horror flicks that feature a deadly car in the mix of things. Fasten your seatbelts, as a whirlwind journey is about to begin.
Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin.
Give him a few seconds and he'll realize it too.
The Wraith, 1986. A notorious motorized gang terrorizes a small town in Arizona. They force other drivers to participate in drag races so that they can win their vehicles. After the gang murders a young man, a mysterious black car shows up in town. Members of the gang are challenged to deadly races, and the gang members are being killed in the process. This vigilante serves vengeance to the murderous gang in a way that is best suited for them. But what is the identity of the man in the car? This movie is a treat for those who love the spirit of the 80s. It offers an exciting plotline, lots of action and car chases, and overall, a fun narrative that is very entertaining. A young Charlie Sheen and Sherilyn Fenn make for a talented cast and do a decent job in their respective roles. There are some cheesy moments, and the lack of logic is often glaring. However, we could not get enough of the car, which was a magnificent technological wonder. It was a Dodge M4S, designed especially for the purpose of the movie. The super-fast car boasted of a 2.2-liter four-cylinder engine and could reach speeds of up to 190 miles per hour. Around $1 million was spent on the car alone, and it also required skilled drivers to maneuver this beast of a vehicle. There are some jaw-dropping scenes involving the car, and during the filming of one of those, a fatal accident resulted in the death of a cameraman. The plot might not be original, but the presentation is innovative and makes it a must-watch for B-movie fans.
Look at my car! Come on, prick! We're not finished yet! Come on!
Christine, 1983. A young man, Arnie, buys a beautiful Plymouth Fury from a strange man, and this red and white car might not be as good as it looks. He's obsessed with the car, names it Christine, and works to restore it back to its original condition. Soon enough, the demonic car has an effect on the young man and terrorizes those who stand in his way. Things get more troublesome when the young man has a girlfriend, and the car shows signs of jealousy. He also starts showing changes in his character that were never expected of him. Is there an end to his troubles? A combination of Stephen King and John Carpenter is bound to provide something special, and that is exactly what they do in Christine. This is a quintessential scary car horror that has a bizarre premise with lots of tension in the air. The last scene, where the final face-off with a car takes place, is probably the best among many other scary moments in the movie. The car in question is a classic '58 Plymouth Fury, and the glossy red beauty with a stunning design won our hearts in a jiffy. It was super cool to watch Christine repair her damaged parts by herself. As far as acting is concerned, Keith Gordon and John Stockwell were pretty good in their respective roles. The way Arnie's character turns from a geek to a tough badass was skillfully portrayed by Keith Gordon. In short, Christine is one creepy, well-made horror flick that you certainly don't want to miss out on.
I'd like to report a truck driver that's been endangering my life. Name again? David Mann.
Duel, 1971, TV movie. David is traveling across town to attend a meeting and drives through the open highways. On his way, he overtakes a truck that is being driven by a psychopath. The truck driver takes serious offense to his overtaking, and soon it becomes a maddening chase where the truck seems determined to crush David in his car. David does everything in his capacity to put off the insane chase, but nothing seems to work. Can he come out of this duel alive? Duel is a TV movie that showed the signs of a skillful director in Steven Spielberg. He manages to give the audience a spooky time with the horrifying premise of a maniacal truck driver stalking the salesman. What adds to the fun of the movie is that there is no proper explanation as to why the attacks are taking place. The acting performance by Dennis Weaver deserves applause, and he is just perfect as the clueless victim. Spielberg was so pleased with his work in this movie that he used some of the techniques used here in one of his horror classics, Jaws. Coming to the car, or rather the truck used in this movie, it had the perfect intimidating appearance that was required. It was a 55 Peterbilt 281, and this ancient tractor unit was shown driving at breakneck speed while trying to crush the red Plymouth Valiant that belonged to the salesman. The rusty old looks of the truck were purposely crafted to add to the horror of the viewer. And although it was a mere operative in the hand of the driver, it still had an uncanny, evil personality. Maximum Overdrive, 1986. A random comet causes a strange radiation storm that has some serious consequences on Earth. All the machines come to life, and they turn against their creators, humans. A group of people is holed up in a truck stop, but their troubles have only just begun when the truck's coming to life in a maniacal, homicidal form. The group, led by a cook named Bill, tries desperately to survive in the crisis. And if their escape plans do not work, they're done for. The plot of this movie is clearly not intended to inspire rationality, but even the ridiculous narrative is a lot of fun to watch. This is one of the rare occasions where Stephen King tried to fill into the director's shoes, and we have to admit that it is an entertaining effort. When all the machines come to life, so do some homicidal trucks. And their leader was a massive Western Star 4800 tractor unit. As the main antagonist, this mean truck was easily identifiable, courtesy of its huge green goblin mask. The black paint of the trailer was scribbled with the Happy Toys logo, and it was quite a sight to watch this vehicle trying to squash everything in sight. One of the things that we loved about this film was that nobody was shown mercy. There is a scene where a steamroller storms out of nowhere and crushes a little kid. Maximum Overdrive is regarded as a cult classic in the world of B-movies, and it is a terrific watch as a guilty pleasure.
This car is 100% death proof. Only to get the benefit of it, honey, you really need to be sitting in my seat.
Death Proof, 2007. Mike is a stuntman in Hollywood who has a secret life that is unknown to all. He is a deranged serial killer who stalks and murders women for fun, and then makes it appear like a car accident. His sinister plans seem to be working just fine as he uses his customized car to execute his victims. However, there is a change of fortune when he sets his eyes upon a group of girls who are willing to fight back. Will the feisty girls get the better of Mike, or is his car really death-proof? Cars don't just fascinate us, but also offer a lucrative challenge to the best of directors. In this movie, the legendary Quentin Tarantino takes up the direction and puts together a classic tribute to grindhouse flicks of the 60s. It isn't meant to be taken seriously and serves as a parody to the unique style of filmmaking in the 60s and 70s exploitation dramas. As the title suggests, the car concerned is death-proof indeed, and it took some remarkable customizations by stuntman Mike to make the car perform as desired. It was a 70s Chevy Nova, and we will never forget this iconic gray paint job and the white skull paint on the front. We watched in horror as the car became a tool for the serial killer to destroy and dismember his victims. It isn't often that you get to see Tarantino handling a B movie, and this is a chance you shouldn't let go. Wheels of Terror, 1990. TV movie. Laura moves to the calm and quiet of Cooper Valley in Arizona from the busy life in Los Angeles. She's a bus driver and moves along with her daughter Stephanie to provide her with a fulfilling country life. However, peace is short-lived because a dangerous psychopath is on the prowl. He abducts and molests young girls, and when Stephanie is kidnapped right in front of Laura, she goes on a desperate chase through the desert to nab the criminal. This is as good as TV movies get, and the action-filled entertainer got a decent response from the fans. Through an exciting narrative, the film manages to draw your attention to a serious issue, which is that of a perverted psycho child killer. There are some similarities with Duel that you simply cannot ignore. For instance, just like in Duel, this movie never shows a glimpse of the killer. He uses the menacing '79 Dodge Charger, and there's something about the black cars of this variant that makes them the perfect villainous car. In this case, the grille of the car was customized to give it the ideal satanic look. Joanna Cassidy is impressive in her role as the determined mother who would go to any extent to save her daughter. Some of you might be wondering how a school bus can keep up with a fast-ripping car. Well, in the beginning, there's a scene where they let you know that a racing engine has been put into the bus. Although the film is actually a prolonged chase scene, the suspense and thrill in the plot will get you sailing through the entire length of it.
Jump! Jump!
Killdozer, 1974, TV movie. A construction crew is working on an island to build an airstrip. They encounter a strange blue rock that they fail to move around. It's actually a meteorite from space and has a malevolent entity that seeks to cause harm. It gets the perfect opportunity when one of the crew members tries dislodging the rock using a Caterpillar D9 bulldozer. The machine stops working, and when it resumes later, it seems to have a mind of its own. The murderous bulldozer now starts killing the workers on the island, and there seems to be no means of stopping this mayhem. This sci-fi horror flick was made for TV and adapted from a novel by Theodore Sturgeon. It aired on the ABC network back in the day, and despite the glaring loopholes here and there, it was quite a thrilling watch. It did not please the critics, but over the years, there's been a cult following surrounding this movie. One of the issues with the bulldozer was that it's painstakingly slow. For instance, the top speed of 7.3 miles per hour that the Caterpillar D9 can muster is much lesser than an average human jogging down the track. However, when it goes on a murderous rampage, logic takes a back seat. We were watching in awe as the bulldozer revved its engine and frantically waved its huge blade to effect some kills. The climactic scene where this killdozer manipulated by alien forces is involved in an epic showdown is one of the best moments of the film. Killdozer is no classic, but still the perfect movie for a fun evening with a couple beers.
Anybody there? Anybody there?
The Hearse, 1980. Jane is trying her best to cope with a stressful divorce, but after moving to her deceased aunt's house, she realizes that this is only the beginning of her troubles. She encounters some unexplained supernatural occurrences, where an eerie black hearse with a creepy driver behind the wheel is trying to run her over. She also meets a nice young man in town and has romantic inclinations toward him. But is he the same person as the stranger in the black hearse? As it turns out, her aunt was involved in some form of witchcraft, and she might have secrets that have consequences. Before we begin, we must admit that this movie isn't as much about the hearse as you would think. However, the movie does uphold the principles of a good horror flick by taking us through an interesting ghost story with lots of mysteries. Trish Van Devere is a competent actress, and she does a commendable job in the movie alongside David Gautreaux. The mysterious haunted hearse might have a limited role, but it makes a strong impact on the scenes where it is stalking Jane. The backstory of the car makes things even creepier. While we did enjoy the movie, the ending was a bit of a letdown for us. If you have watched this film, do let us know your thoughts about the climax. The Car, 1977. It's all quiet and peaceful in a small desert town until a strange possessed car shows up. It seems to be in a murderous mood and slaughters those who are unfortunate enough to come in its way. While the inhabitants are clueless on how to contain this car, the town sheriff might be the only man with a chance. This tense, single-minded horror thriller might not be traditionally scary, but the presentation is spot on. It's smartly shot using wide-angle lenses to perfection, and the traveling shots are simply breathtaking. You will soon find yourself involved with the characters and watch in horror as the evil black sedan takes some of them down one by one. Now, coming to The Car, a customized Lincoln Continental Mark III was used as the evil black car in the movie. There was no driver, and it was just shown as a mean machine with a knack for homicide. To perfect the sinister look of the car, the roof was much lower than usual, and the model was built just for this film. A particular mention must be made of the spine-chilling horn, which adds to its frightening effect. There were 4 versions of the car for the entire length of shooting, and it took over 10 months to get things together. If car horror is your cup of tea, this movie will surely be a treat for you.
And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks everyone.